What a beautiful fall afternoon in Statesboro. Isn't it gorgeous?
It is. Sir.
So Phil, we ordered this weather up special for you.
Thank you.
2 weeks ago we couldn't do this because of Hurricane Helene, but we thank God for this beautiful fall day. I'm Charles Penny. I'm the city manager of Statesboro. And today, this is a great day because we've been waiting for a while to do this and to have this ribbon cutting for the Statesboro Art Park. For quite some time, the project has really been at a place where people have already been enjoying it. And so today, we want to officially open the park, have the ribbon cutting. And so we welcome you here for this special event. And also say we had to arrange for our former council member to be able to be here. And so we appreciate him being able to be here for this special occasion since he had the vision for this park. At this time, I'd like to call on our Mayor Pro Tem to make some remarks. Mayor Pro Tem Sherry Barr.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Hello, folks. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for all the folks who helped make this happen. I see our Public Works team in place, and they're the ones who actually turned the dream into a reality. This is a beautiful day in Statesboro. I'm very pleased to be part of the current administration, serving on City Council, and to be part of a group of leadership who believes in making good things happen for the people of Statesboro. All the people who live here, work here, visit here. One of the first things I heard about 5 years ago after I got elected was Phil Boyum talking about we were going to have an art park downtown. Well, it took a while, but it's here, and I'm thrilled to be here and be part of it and to welcome you all, and I look forward to Phil telling us more about the vision and how it came to be. Phil, come on up.
Hey, unless you guys have to get back to work, I'll keep this short. If you gotta get back to work, I can ramble on for a little while, tell some dad jokes, yeah? Stretch it out. Well, don't do that. Charles said don't do that. Sorry. He's the boss. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here, and this is a beautiful day. You know, before I get started, I just wanted to tell a little story about a little girl who went to see her uncle at work, and her uncle just happened to be in charge of demolishing a skyscraper, right? So he's one of these companies that comes in and does that. And he was showing her around, and finally the little girl said to her uncle, you know, gosh, your job is really hard. And he chuckled a little bit and he said, you know, my job takes skill, my job takes expertise, my job takes training, but it's not really that hard. You see, when somebody hires me to do a job, I find the weaknesses in the building, you know, wire up my explosives and hit the plunger, and gravity really does all the work. And he said, so just remember, but when we get the dump trucks out and clean up all the mess, we're left with a blank slate. And then that's when the real work begins of rebuilding and building up, because you still need skills, you still need technique, you still need expertise, but you're fighting gravity the whole way. So it's always harder to build than it is to tear down. And Sherry's right, it did take a little while to get this done. When I moved into that apartment in 2008, this was nothing but a pile of trash from the railroad. 5 years later, it was still a pile of trash. Fortunately, we had a hurricane in 2018 that started blowing some of this trash around, and we realized that, you know, we couldn't have that trash in those kinds of buildings. So we got the owner to tear that building down, and we negotiated through a laborious process with the railroad to get them to this place. And for the folks who don't know, Alan Muldrew tried to get a dog park here. We tried to put an amphitheater here. We tried to put a splash pad here. There are 3 or 4 different projects, but with the railroad really putting the restrictions on us, we realized, hey, how can we work within those restrictions yet make something beautiful and accessible for downtown? So, and that's where we came up with the concept of the Statesboro Art Park. I like to think of this park as an outdoor museum. If you've ever been to a museum that doesn't have art, it's just white, blank walls, nothing on the floor, no furniture. It's just an empty room with blank walls. And when you take away the burrow and the sculptures, that's what you have out here. You have a blank canvas. And hopefully that canvas, with the help of folks like Olympia at the city, who's working with the committee that picked the art, hopefully folks like Olympia will be able to continue the process of selecting good art and putting that art back out into the community. So I just want to say, yeah, I had the original idea for this, but anytime you build, it takes time, it takes coordination, and most importantly, it takes teamwork. So I want to thank Alan and the Downtown Statesboro Development Authority for being supportive of this project from the get-go and helping me talk to the tree board. I want to thank the Statesboro City Council for approving the monies that were spent for this project. I want to thank John Washington and Jason Boyles in the engineering department. John, you were instrumental in wrestling with the 800-pound gorilla that is the railroad. And so without his plan and his execution, we would not have been able to do anything, and this would still be a pile of trash. Of course, I want to thank my fellow classmates from Leadership Bullet 2022. Each of them, what we were charged to do for our project was something that we made by our hands and something that would last past our class time. And so when we thought of the sundial over there, the human sundial, each member of our class created one of those numbers. Each one of those numbers is created by an individual. So I thought that was a nice touch. And of course, all the guys in, is that yellow? Is that yellow? Okay, emergency yellow, you guys from Public Works, specifically streets and maintenance, they've never done so many curves in a sidewalk before, I'm pretty sure. Most of the sidewalks are straight, most of the roads are straight. So this was a unique challenge for them, but they really rose to the challenge. And for folks who don't quite know yet, this is a cool thing. You can see this park from space. So the park itself has a design of a flower, and I know on Apple Maps already, they've already taken a recent picture, and if you zoom in on downtown Statesboro, you can see this shining white, blue and yellow flower right in the middle of downtown. So that's all I got to say. I know Charles has got some recognitions. It's, like I said, it's harder to build than it is to tear down, and this is something I'm looking forward to seeing all those Instas and Snaps and Facebook posts with with selfies, or ussies if you're from across the pond, with the borough. So anyway, thank you to everybody here that worked on this. You're the ones that really deserve the applause. Thanks.
Thank you, Phil. I think you've really already recognized everyone, but I do want to just say to you, Phil, that the vision for this park, I think, is really special because although we're just going to cut the ribbon today, the fact that we cleaned up an eyesore in downtown, and after we cleaned it up and the public works guys did their work to make this the beautiful park that it is, we've already seen people out here. In fact, people were bringing their trucks during prom season. They were driving up on this site, so I think they thought they were supposed to be able to park. So the public works guys had to get even more innovative, so we had to put bollards to keep people from driving onto the site. So people have been enjoying the art park, and that's what we want them to do. And now that we're into the fall season, and we all have to admit, during the summertime, this park can get awfully hot. So it takes some you have to wait until the sun goes down, and so that you don't come out and pass out from a heat stroke. But as Phil already stepped through the folks, I want to thank him for his leadership and for his vision. I need to thank Olympia Gaines, and Olympia is our assistant to the manager. And the reason I say that is after we got all of this done, I said, well, we can't open the art park until we have art in it. And so we gave her that assignment that we had to get art in our park. And so she worked with the City of Statesboro Art Advisory Committee. And if any of those folks are here, I don't have you listed by name, just raise your hand. Okay. Let's recognize. Thank y'all for, and you have to recognize art is it's an interesting thing when you select art. Sometimes you have to be careful because some art, people see different things when they see the art. Some people will be offended by some of the art. But what we want is to create that conversation piece. And I think that the Art Advisory Committee did a great job of selecting excellent pieces to go into the art park. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute as well. And then Phil talked about our employees in the Public Works Department. When we think about our employees for the city of Statesboro, we have 330 employees. And as a city manager, I always say, sometimes people like to decide, they want to identify, and I say this, public safety as the most important city employees. But what I always say is the most important city employee is the one that you need at that particular moment. And in this case, our public works was the most important, they were the most important employees because it took their ingenuity, following the design to make this park what it is today. And so we don't often get to say thank you to the, and I say guys, but we have females that work in public works as well, but to our employees in the public works department for what they do each and every day. They're dealing with things that a lot of us wouldn't want to deal with, but they're still getting the work done. They're still getting the city cleaned up. And so to our employees, thank you for what you've done to create this beautiful park. And I hope you brought your families down here to see what you've done, because it is pretty amazing. So thank you to the Public Works Department and the folks that lead the Public Works Department for this effort. Then we want to thank Leadership Bullet Class of 2022. Do we have any of those folks here? Thank you for taking this project on and the sundial. Now, Phil, the sundial, each one of those, I can't tell you what the pieces are, but the parts of the sundial, the members of the class were responsible for design and for creating those. And so it is special because, again, as long as the art park is here, you will live on in the infamy. As long as the art park is here. So working with the railroad, if any of you know about working with the railroad, and I said this to somebody the other day, the railroad doesn't even listen to God. And so if you can work with them to get something done and to have this beautiful art park, it is pretty amazing to get that done. So Leadership Bullet Class of 2022, thank you for your efforts. So let's appreciate and recognize them as well. And then we want to thank DSDA for their work. They do their work each and every day to make downtown Statesboro a better place. And Elaine, I know Alan's not here, but we appreciate having you here instead of Alan anyway. And since Dwayne is recording it, Alan can go back and look at it. And so just thank you for all that you do to make downtown Statesboro a better place. Now, let's talk a little bit about the art. And I'm not an artist. I can't even draw stick men, but the first piece out, if you look back toward the street there, that is called Lemongrass, and that's by Gregory Johnson. And Lemongrass is a visually captivating and emotionally resonant sculpture that merges form, motion, material, and light, inspired by the artist's life's journey and nature's curves. The artist created lyrical shapes that evoke familiar yet intangible feelings, challenging our minds and boundaries. So then the next piece, look to your left, the red piece here, Under Fire by Adam C. Walls. Under Fire is derived from the artist's love of fantasy, escapism, and pop culture imagery. And then if you look to your right here, straight out to your right, some say it looks like a guillotine, but it's a chair. It's a meditation bench by Glenn Zagard. Meditation bench is the artist's theme of finding one's place in a relationship with nature that allows him to share with others his collective experiences. And then the last one, if you look back here, Slider by Duke Alser. Slider was designed to embody balance, weight, and gravity, symbolizing harmony. Now, so I remember just before we placed the first piece of art, there's a social media where someone was asking, I think it was out of my neighborhood, what is that? Why is it just sitting there? And I was tempted to go in there and say, just wait a minute, and it's going. You're going to see art out in the art park. But I didn't say that. But the very next week, I think it was lemongrass was the first piece that was placed in the art park. And so I hope my neighbors will now come to downtown Statesboro and see all this beautiful art. Now, it won't stay forever. I think we bought one piece, Olympia. We bought the meditation bench. But if we move it, we'll move it someplace else. But we'll bring different art in. I think we'll have it probably for at least a year. And then the art committee will work a year or two. And then the art committee will work to do a selection to bring more art here so that we can have that conversation in our community. So that's all about our art in the art park. At this time, I'd like to call Ms. Barr and Phil. I don't know if any other council members, representative from the Public Works Department, someone else from the Leadership Bullet. Elena, since you're from downtown DSDA, come on up. We're going to cut the ribbon and get this thing started.
Come on, John. Dr. Banter. Poking out. Right there. How's that sound? Perfect. Leadership bullet, come on. Come on.
Don't be shy.
Come on. Come on. Where's my... Come on, Joe. Hiding back. Oh, Olympia, yeah. And go to Public Works, come on. Public Works, come on in. Everybody in. There you go. There, oh, wait, come in. You hiding behind Cindy?
Serve it first. Fill in.
Let me stand behind me, huh?
So make sure y'all can be seen. Come on over to the side. Even still in
You
there.
can't see me, I can't see you. I'll look at you in the back, yep. Richard, come here for the
A little bit. There you go. Charles, you want to hop in over here?
I was okay with not being there.
Ready
Marshall, you're in a shadow.
That would be my shadow.
Let's have you go over on the edge. Yeah, Bill cast a tall shadow.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Good. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Flash didn't go off. One second.
You did.
Oh, it did? I
Yeah.
can't see out here. Okay.
Neither can we.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Tell us when you want us to cut.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you in just a second. Just gonna grab a second. One more like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so on the count of 3, we'll cut it. Phil, could you put the scissors in your other hand? I know it's weird. It'll, yeah, so we're a little more balanced out with the scissors.
All right.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank y'all.
Do we want to get the leadership bullet class at the start now?
Oh man, that'd be
Yeah, before we do that, let me just conclude. Following this, this concludes our program here. However, we invite everyone to go over to Building 3 on the big campus where we have refreshments and we also have a presentation that we need to make. And so if we can get over there as soon as y'all take your picture, we can move on with that. So thank y'all for coming, and this has been a great day.
Thanks everybody.